Jazz listeners, and welcome back to another week of just hearing me talk. This is a solo episode, but I'm really excited to get to talk to you all about, what's been going on in my life and what I've been thinking about. So first and foremost, all those votes came in for the new podcast cover, and wow. It was so fun to see all you guys really interact with everything. Even people were swiping up, commenting, like giving me certain creative direction, which I think is always so useful. And, time and time again, I do want to add, it's really important to me that you enjoy the creative behind this podcast because, it's going to be something that hopefully you share on Instagram and you listen to. So if I can, incorporate your mindset and incorporate what you're thinking and your ideas into this, I would love to do so. So thank you so much for those of you who, gave some creative direction. It really was helpful. My interns have been working really hard on those for the past 3 weeks, and just going back and forth. I've been having them change little things. It's definitely a lot more work than people think. So shout out to them. And I'm really happy with the new cover. And I think behind having a new cover, it's just this regrowth for me. It's just this, spurt of, what's to come with this podcast. And I think that's really exciting. Just kind of like a lot of old juju, I guess you can say, with that old one. I loved it. Actually, my sister created it, and I remember actually sending her some sort of idea of what I wanted. Hardly anything at all. I literally sent her a picture and I said, can you make this artsy somehow, as if it was a cover for something? And I think it took her not even a day, and she sent me that. And I was like, oh, I love it. So there wasn't as much thought put into it, but I truly did love it. I think because A, because she made it, and B, because I literally know nothing about anything creative or, Adobe, Canva, whatever. So had that forever. And I think it really was such a focal point in moving the podcast forward, because I did love it so much. I was like, we have to use this, so I have to start this for real. And the idea behind it literally was her. So she did a great job. But I wanted something new and something different. I just moved. I'm taking this to a much I'm taking this in a much bigger direction than I once thought. Like I said, I started this filming out of my car, just filming audio, recording audio or filming it and taking audio. I was never even intending to do video at all. So just thinking back when I filmed this in my car, I literally remember thinking of it as a diary, just holding, I was using voice memos too, which is hilarious, but it does go to show you can really start with absolutely nothing. I sometimes think that my voice memos were way easier and also much better quality sometimes. So trust me, you can do pretty much anything with an iPhone. So if you want to start something, do it. To top off that, I spent the past weekend, in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. So this year I went to cheer on the Bengals. I didn't actually go to the game, but went back and visited the ex-roommates. I don't like calling them that. So went back and visited the roommates. They have a new place, which I absolutely adored. They've got a beautiful pool, different schedules they're working behind. It's really nice to, see your friends doing so well. So that was great. Being back in Los Angeles, I'm sure you're probably thinking what did that feel like? That was my mom's first question for sure. And honestly, mixed emotions kind of. I loved being back to visit because I felt it's crunch time. It's I gotta get everything I want done. I wanna see everything I wanna see. And I think I took that for granted a lot living in LA. You don't even realize the beauty that's right in front of you. I mean, now looking out even the window here, it's so different, and that's okay. So, definitely being more appreciative of where I'm at. Obviously, it's kind of sad to go back to cold weather, don't get me wrong, but I also think it's been kind of a push for me where it's do I see myself actually living in the cold forever? I don't. But I'm a little bit more motivated here because I want to get back to that warm spot. So I'm taking everything with a grain of salt. I'm learning, I'm growing, and it was so nice to be back. I'm definitely gonna be planning at least a trip once a month, just to keep my sanity a little bit. Now the Super Bowl score, not so happy about. I was not too thrilled to watch the Rams beat the Bengals, but that's okay. So hopefully the Bengals have the same mindset as me. They're gonna get back there too. So we'll see how that goes. But this week I really wanted to talk about the power of manifestation. And I'm new to this game. So even when I'm speaking about it, it might sound she doesn't have it all figured out with the manifestation thing yet. That's okay. We're going to learn about it together. We'll talk about it together. And if you are someone who fully believes in manifesting your life, please reach out to me because I want to do that. I think it's awesome. So on the plane, on my way to LA, didn't download a movie or anything. Usually I'm just like, okay, listening to music. But I think this time I wanted a little bit more. A nap wasn't going to cut it. So Sam actually had a book with him. He brought 2 books, both 2 excellent books. Of course, he's read them. They totally embody his life. Atomic Habits and The Secret. So I'd already started reading Atomic Habits, and I think I've talked about it before. Really great book. Getting 1% better each and every day. Fully for that. I think it's an excellent book. But The Secret I never read, and honestly, I have it right here to show you. The cover is like National Treasure vibes. Totally fine with that. I think that's so cool. But it wasn't something that I thought of as reading because I think I've told you guys this before, but I love like self-help books. This didn't really like come across as a self-help book, I guess you could say. But I was on the plane for 4 hours, so as you can guess, I had to read it. So I started reading, I read about 50 pages, and I was like, take this book away from me. I need a break. My mental cannot handle this right now. Seriously, it was just so overwhelming, but so great. I learned so much, and I think you should all read it, A. But B, the secret to life really being that if you think that you can do it, you simply can. And it goes more into detail. That's just kind of like the general basis, but I don't want to actually give you the literal secret. You have to read the book. I can't tell you to read or tell you all the pages. It's more in depth than that. But seriously, sometimes you need to be reminded of that. I think, there's a simple quote. If you can dream it, you can do it. Those cheesy quotes, I think, the more that we express them or say them differently, I think the more we can understand them. So reading this book really got me to thinking, all this time, all these years, what if I wanted to do? And really break it down. Because I think I've always said on this podcast, I have no idea what I want to do. But I don't know if that's always been true, okay? And I mean that by saying I don't really know specifically how I'm gonna get there. And that's the fact of it all. And I think those two can be kind of confusing and they can simply just blend together. There is a huge difference between knowing what you want to do or who you want to become versus how you're going to get there. And I think for me, I've always loved having these dreams of, doing so-and-so or this and this, but I never knew how I was going to get there. So that stopped me from actually believing in myself. So, Taylor, you ask, how are you combating that? What are you going to do to move forward and, break this barrier of, trying to figure out the difference or like separating yourself from knowing who you are and want to become, all that. Listen, I'm making a vision board, okay? And I know that it sounds crazy because in my head, I was always like, I don't need to make a vision board. I don't need to print out any pictures. What's that gonna do? It's all in here. It's all in my brain. No, I don't even believe in my brain anymore because your brain comes up with so many excuses. So I think a visual is so helpful. So I already sent, I think it was 45 pictures to Walgreens that I'm gonna print out and put on this cork board. You're probably wondering, what are your visions? Yeah, so a podcast, it was not one of them, okay? That was the surprise one. But I think that surprise one has led me to believe that, I really can do anything that I put my mind to. And I actually read a quote this morning. I wrote it down on my phone, but I'm trying to remember. Okay, I actually remembered. I was working out, and this morning when I worked out, I told myself I was gonna listen to all motivational podcasts. Mine, not one of them, but I was listening to Nelson Mandela, and he's awesome. But I was also listening to CEOs in tech and things like that, and they said, if it's easy now, it'll be hard later. If it's hard now, it'll be easy later. So it kind of got me to thinking, right now, my life has felt a little bit easy. So I'm gonna make it hard. I've done the hard parts of, setting up a podcast and doing all that. I feel like the easy stuff's to come. It's just, consistency, it's building, it's learning. I think I've told you all, but I took a lot of acting classes in LA, not a lot, but a good amount. I did a lot of, good stuff out there. I did photo shoots, I did production stuff. I've got a lot of skill sets that I think I'm not really putting to use. And when I go back, to me as a little kid and think, what was it that I always wanted to do? It was be on TV in some way or another, whether it was acting or it was, having a talk show. that's my dream. And it's always been that dream. I think that dream has been blurred because I always thought, oh, how can I actually get there? Is this enough? And it's not. It's the truth. I love this podcast, but I want it to take me somewhere else. I want it to take me to that next step. And I think by me saying that out loud, it brings about that possibility and belief in myself that I can make it happen. And so if you're afraid to say something out loud because you think someone will judge you or because you think fear will creep in, just say it. Say what you want. Tell the world what it is you want. Put it on the vision board, but speak it out into existence. You know, before I moved to LA, I always said, I'm gonna move to LA. I know it, I'm gonna do it. And because I knew it, I did it. Now, obviously with dreams, there's goals. You can't just dream something and not, put it into action. It doesn't really work like that. But I do believe the universe does bring, certain situations and people into your life, because you are, manifesting this to happen. So have those goals. If dreaming of being on TV is what's gonna be like my end all be all, then obviously I need to put myself on the screen more. I need to film more. I need to, make TikToks, just keep doing it and practicing at, the craft that I want to build. And I think that's really important. I think it should be a huge reminder to everyone that where you see yourself is somewhere that you shouldn't, have excuses for. If you see yourself being a successful chef, start cooking. If you see yourself, being successful in finance, start learning, start reading, start studying the market. Everything has an action and an outcome. So if you're not putting actions into the outcome, you're not gonna get the outcome. And I think it's really just that simple, but I've kind of put some notes down here that I wanted to talk over too. So first off, tackling fear. So this book really does talk about how you can tackle fear. First of all, recognizing it. I think recognizing fear is definitely very difficult because it's a thought. One way that you can actually really recognize it in an easy way is figuring out how you feel when you're thinking about a certain thing or just in a certain moment. So yesterday I was literally laying around, kind of being lazy, honestly. And I thought to myself, how am I feeling right now, laying in bed being lazy? You wanna know the answer? Like dirt, like crap. I felt awful. I mean, nothing good comes from being lazy. Nothing good comes from laying around in bed. And so I remembered what this book taught me and I just jumped out of bed and I wanted to change how I felt. And by changing how I felt, I did things that make me feel good. I got up, I walked around, I did some cleaning. Just those little things and little activities that get you out of bed are really important, and especially predicting your future success. If you're able to jump out of bed, think about how much more you're able to jump up and get at. Trust me, when I say this, you will tell yourself more excuses than anyone else will ever tell you. Something that I've also learned is that fear also comes with possibility. I think when you're fearful of something, I think it's because you want it so bad that you're scared to go after it. And I think what's great about fear is if you turn that fear into something that you can work towards, it's honestly a magical thing. The things that I am most scared of are the things I want so bad. And I really think about that because it may be true for you or maybe not, but definitely is for me. I think I'm definitely scared to say out loud sometimes, like, I want to be an actress. I don't know why. Even saying that now, I'm like, should I delete that? Will people take that the wrong way? But it's true. And I think the more you say it, the more you believe it, and it gets rid of that fear. So if that's something you're struggling with, say it out loud more, write it down more, create your vision board. I think it could be so useful. Second is that I literally didn't even know this until now, but I used to manifest my life. And looking back, there are so many different examples of how I've done this. So I've written down a couple of examples so I didn't forget to tell you guys, but we had a scholarship in high school, like a scholarship night. I can't remember like the gist of it. I think it was like top 10% or something. And we all got a raffle ticket to go into the gymnasium, and they were said like at the end of the awards, we're gonna announce the winner on the raffle ticket. So after they pass them all out, they go through giving out the awards. So everyone got like the paper to acknowledge that they were top 10%. And I'm just sitting there, I don't know why. I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna win this. I know I'm gonna win this scholarship. Like, there is not a single doubt in my mind that I'm not winning this. They're reading off the numbers, and I'm like, yep, it's mine. it was. It was literally mine. And it's so weird because that's just one single moment that I was like, that's who I am, you know, and I believed in myself. I know it sounds so silly and kind of stupid, and you might think it's just dumb luck, and it could be, but it's motivating. The second thing that I've always done throughout my life, that I've actually stopped doing recently, and I'm gonna start again, is I've always wrote myself letters. I wrote myself a letter because we had to, I believe in 8th grade, to our high school self, and from that moment on, I wanted to do it forever because I thought it was just really special to read those moments, you know, looking back on your life. So I remember writing one in high school to, you know, my college self. And then on, I would write it like every year. And just reading back on how much I had changed, that itself is very inspiring. It's really cool to see how much you can grow. In a year, I remember writing out like, this is gonna be my roommate, because I was going through the selection process. These are gonna be my friends for 4 years. And this is gonna happen to me. I mean, what I've written down in my life is kind of insane and what's played out. So that's the second thing. Now the third thing is just like being class council president in high school. I literally remember saying, I'm going to be class council president. I'm going to do it. And I know it sounds like there's a difference between being cocky and confident. And I think you need to be confident with yourself. And you need to say like, this is gonna happen, because I swear it will. When you say that, you're gonna put forth the effort to make it happen. If you don't say it, you're not really speaking it out loud into the universe. Again, this is manifesting, people, and it's 101 because I think it really does work. I also think that, you know, when you're a lot younger, you're a little bit more naive about the real world. I sure was. Coming into college, I was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, a lot easier. You know, you have this structure, you have this planner, you have this schedule, but going out into the real world, I think your young, like naive self who's, you know, really motivated, it gets crushed a little bit. And I think in that moment that you are crushed by the real world is the moment that you really learn to pick yourself back up. It shows your true bravery. It shows what you really want out of life. It shows everything that you've really ever dreamed of actually like painting into a picture. And I think that's such a special thing. So just understand the power of knowing, understand the power of committing to what you want, speak out into existence that you want to be an actress, that you want to be on TV, that you want to have a talk show, that one day you want to be on Saturday Night Live. Do all those things. Print out pictures at Walgreens and make a vision board. And I promise you, at some point in your life, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I really painted the best picture for my life I possibly could. And that's really all I have today. I know that this episode, for those who are really big into the manifesting thing, it's gonna be like, I already knew that. So if you already know that and this episode did not teach you a single thing, totally fine. I want you to reach out to me and tell me, you know, something that you do to manifest your life, because I'm so interested. But thank you so much for listening to another episode of Tay Chats. I hope we can start to build, manifest, and paint the best picture for our future lives together. Bye, guys.